Even though veganism has gained popularity, it's still something that invites a lot of skepticism in the world of sports nutrition. You can understand why most athletes have a hard time wholly accepting it. But now we've got all these vegan athletes challenging all the stereotypes about it, and what's more, we're going to see plenty of them compete at this year's Mr. America competition. Without further ado, let's dive into all the details. First up, a change in the landscape of sports nutrition. For the longest time, athletes have hyper-focused on the necessity of consuming meat so that they can perform their best. Well, believe us when we tell you that this trend's seeing a change right before our eyes. We've got plenty of vegan athletes out there now, and the growth of this community just proves one thing. There are alternatives that work, and there's no reason athletes shouldn't try them. In fact, the results stand before us, and you can't deny the proven health advantages of a vegan diet. Despite all the facts and figures, it's been quite a long-winded journey convincing most athletes to switch to veganism. At the end of the day, it's each to their own, but still, it's worth giving it a shot, don't you think? Up next, how Plant-Built is hoping to change the way athletes look at veganism. Success for athletes doesn't have to depend on eating meat, and Plant-Built has created an entire platform just to support that sentiment. The company was founded all the way back in 2012 by Giacomo Marchese and Danny Taylor with one goal in mind. It's entirely possible for athletes to train themselves and survive on a plant-based diet without compromising any of their athletic performances. Immediately after its formation, the company formed its own team of top-notch athletes who called themselves the Vegan Strong Plant-Built Team. Yes, we know the name's a mouthful, but they did prove themselves quite capable. The team dominated the category of bodybuilding at the Naturally Fit Games competition in Austin, Texas, and it showed us that they're very serious about bringing veganism into the world of sports nutrition. Now, with their 10th anniversary this year, they've still got their mind on one thing only. Vegan athletes aren't just good at entering competitions, they're also just as capable as their non-vegan competitors, and what's more, they certainly can win. This time they'll be participating in Mr. America, one very major bodybuilding and powerlifting competition. Previously, it's only been won by athletes who consume meat, but Plant-Built's goal is to win the competition and show the entire world that it doesn't make anyone any less of an athlete if they're on a plant-based diet. Now for the vegan athletes giving it their all to the Mr. America competition. From what we've heard, Plant-Built is sending around 28 of its best vegan athletes to this year's Mr. America contest, which will be held in Atlantic City. When we say we're terribly excited to witness how it'll all unfold, you best believe us. This is history being made right before us. The categories we'll be seeing these Plant-Built athletes in include bodybuilding and weightlifting. But that's not all. We'll also see them perform in powerlifting, kettlebell sport, and CrossFit. It's the biggest athletic competition out there, but we've got complete faith in these athletes. If they win this, they'll prove to everyone that plant-based diets are just as good for athletes. Perhaps they'll even get to address the skeptics with their apprehensions in case the vegans win. Here's what Plant-Built co-founder has to say about the stigma against veganism in the world of sports. Despite veganism and its growing popularity among the masses, certain stereotypes about vegans still exist in our society. A lot of people continue to believe vegans can't do well as athletes, and frankly speaking, that's a very ignorant thing to say. It's like all the information and knowledge is out there, but no one really sees it. You have to prove it to them to make them believe it. Co-founder of Plant-Built, Giacomo Marchese, has plenty to say about this. According to him, there's so much evidence out there that vegan athletes who make it to the top aren't an exception. In fact, it's very much possible to be a vegan athlete and outperform your fellows. Giacomo claims that people always assume the worst about the vegan diet because of all the misinformation that's already out there. And you know how misinformation works. When it finds a root, it's pretty hard to get rid of it. That's why Giacomo came up with the idea for Plant-Built so he could challenge the stigma about vegans being athletes. What's more, we've got plenty of vegan bodybuilders challenging harmful stereotypes. People's claims about vegans not being strong enough to become athletes are entirely rooted in falsehood. And you know how people claim vegans don't have a good protein intake? Well, they're wrong too. You'll be pretty surprised to know there are so many bodybuilders out there who are vegans. It's surprising because bodybuilders require a lot of protein to keep themselves in perfect form. So to all those who say vegans probably don't get enough protein, care to explain how these vegan bodybuilders do it? We'll be seeing Will Tucker entering the bodybuilding competition at Mr. America this year, and as you've guessed, he's a member of Plant-Built, and he's shown us it's possible to be an incredibly good bodybuilder on an entirely vegan diet. You no longer have to rely on those traditional methods of chugging down raw eggs and chicken breasts to build a great body. Coming up, all the evidence in support of how a vegan diet greatly benefits athletes. We've had numerous studies in support of how vegan diets are great for athletes. Not just that, they've also demonstrated how greatly it increases the performance of these athletes. So really, there is no harm in switching to a completely vegan diet if you're an athlete. First of all, as we said earlier, a lot of people assume vegans don't get enough protein because of a lack of meat in their diet. For years, we've been told meat is the best source of protein, but that's not really true. We've also got nuts, seeds, tofu, and legumes to depend on as protein-rich foods foods, and Michael Greger, a plant-based doctor, claims that vegan athletes consume 70% more protein than what's required for their bodies. So there's no protein deficiency to be concerned about here. Last but not least, if vegan diets improve athletic performance, then perhaps it's their time to shine. A recent 2021 study done at the University of Berkeley concluded that vegan diets play a huge role in helping athletes improve their performance. This is achieved in 3 ways, namely athletes lose weight, end up with leaner bodies, and much better stamina. The other thing that this study showed was how vegan athletes have a better VO2 max. That's basically a short way of saying how much oxygen your body consumes during exercise. And that's not all though. Vegan athletes tend to have better endurance time for exhaustion too. All of these factors show how greatly beneficial a vegan diet truly is. So with all of this evidence in front of us, perhaps it wouldn't be so bad if everyone gave this a try. Now another related news. First off, a new item on the menu, vegan steaks. The plant-based food company Beyond Meat just put out its first ever vegan steak on its menu. Talk about healthy eating, huh? From what we've heard, this vegan steak will contain 21 grams of protein per serving, so you don't have to worry about not getting enough protein into your body. The company promised that the texture and taste of this plant-based alternative option is much better than its meaty counterpart. We'll be seeing the product at Walmart and Kroger stores across the US. We can't wait to try it and see if it's really worth all the hype. Next up, there's soon going to be a vegan taco restaurant in Las Vegas. This new vegan taco restaurant in Las Vegas happens to be the brainchild of the 3-time Michelin-starred chef Dominique Crenn. The name of the restaurant is La Madrina, and it's going to feature a variety of Mexican cuisine, and we expect Crenn to deliver quite a menu, one that's more focused on variety of plant-based dishes. What's more, the highlight's going to be the restaurant's vegan tacos. Back in 2019, Crenn decided to stop serving meat at her restaurants, and ever since then, she's stuck to her vision of going meat-free. We're very eager to see how her latest restaurant fares. Finally, how multiple fashion brands vow to go completely fur-free. A lot of fashion brands have been giving up on fur recently, and now we've got Fraser's Group joining that list. The company owns a bunch of retail stores like House of Fraser, Jack Wills, Game, Flannels, and Sports Direct. The retail company has around 1,500 stores, situated globally, and after mounting pressure from various animal rights groups, it's finally decided to stop selling fur at its outlets. A step in the right direction, definitely. The chief executive for the corporation, Michael Murray, talked about how they've already issued orders to every single one of its suppliers to stop supplying fur products to the company. With that, the company officially pledged to stay away from fur. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think more athletes should give veganism a try? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.